Aquarius, could Denver trade up for Kayvon Thibodeaux if he slides? This is a fun little idea. There is buzz that Thibodeaux slides this year at the draft, which I think would be dumb. I think he's really good. There's concern over his size and his mindset. There's a little bit of cockiness, and he wants to care about his brand. None of that matters good at football. He's not Myles Garrett. He's not Bradley Chubb. It's okay. I do think a trade makes sense if Denver wants him, and they acquire a QB somehow and keep their first overall pick, which we'll just stick with hypothetical because that's a little bit dicey. The trade value chart says this trade works out pretty well. Denver gets 5, Giants get number 9 and number 64. And this only makes sense if the Giants don't want Thibodeaux and the linemen they want aren't there. That might be a stretch, but it's possible. So I would bet it's unlikely, but that's your scenario and path in which it goes down. So with that in mind, who will draft Kayvon Thibodeaux in this year's NFL draft? This is the pinned comment on today's mailbag. So if the ad break comes, take advantage of it. Head down there and drop a team. Super chat time, $10 from Taylor Holland. Thank you, Taylor. Hashtag NFL. If Denver misses on the big names, who has a better chance of making close to a Stafford-like comeback or impact? Matt Ryan, fix the contract and trade for him, or Jimmy G, someone else? I don't think Jimmy G's ever been as good as Matthew Stafford from a talent perspective. Matt Ryan, I think, fits that mold pretty decently. I don't know if Ryan gets dealt. The concern for Denver is if you miss out on those QBs and the Falcons want to keep Matt Ryan, Jimmy G's your next best option. That's not a great outcome for Denver at the QB position. So Ryan's my pick there. I mean, do you want to gamble on Carson Wentz, Jameis Winston? It's not a great grouping of QBs beyond those big trade names.
Let's go to Big Chungus. What's more likely to happen, Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson going to the Broncos? What's more likely to happen? I mean, I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers going to the Broncos because at this current moment, I don't know if Deshaun Watson's ever going to play in the NFL again. I mean, he's still facing all these allegations. And when you look at what Denver did, they got Nathaniel Hackett, the old offensive coordinator for Green Bay. Rodgers is really, really difficult to be able to figure out. Obviously, so is Watson. But in terms of who's going to be playing in the NFL next year, that's going to be Rodgers. I don't know what's going on with Watson, dude. Another quarterback that I can't figure out, and honestly, maybe Jimmy Garoppolo could be an interesting answer here for Denver Broncos fans. I know it's not the sexy pick, right? Even though he's probably the best looking out of the bunch. It's not the guy that you want under center. So where's Jimmy Garoppolo going to play in 2022? There's a lot of different areas you can go. I know some people are like, Jimmy, he's this. Jimmy also wins. You got to give the guy some credit. He has been a very good leader for the San Francisco 49ers. Hasn't been able to win the big game, but he has gotten them a lot farther than, well, even a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
From Optimus Negative, thoughts on Nicholas Petit-Frere? Up and down, inconsistent. Good run blocker. I'd argue better on the right side back in 2020 than he is currently. But on day 2, that left tackle, right tackle flex will carry plenty of value. Somebody's going to draft him. I am very curious, by the way, how he measures at the NFL Combine, but he's inconsistent still, and I thought he should have gone to the Senior Bowl. I was a bit disappointed he did not. I thought that would have been a good experience for him. Some teams on day 2 to watch out for. The Giants as a right tackle option, since they got Andrew Thomas on the left side. Seattle, either side. Denver, LA, and Atlanta, I think all pretty solid fits given the uncertainty, short-term, long-term, at the right tackle spot. I think that's where I'd play him. I don't want him on the left side like he played this year. I think he's better on the right side. We'll see how he tests. I think that would be a big deal for his draft stock. Taylor Holland, 2 questions. Okay. Best small school player that could go a little bit earlier than expected. And better comp. Devin Lloyd to Darius Leonard or Nakobe Dean to Roquan Smith like impact. I like to do my player comps based on like size and measurables. I think they're all actually pretty decent. I think that Lloyd will test better than Darius Leonard ended up testing this past year. If you're looking for, so I'll go Dean and Roquan, and just in terms of obviously to get either of those guys, you're super hyped. Small school guy who's going to go earlier than expected. How early does Christian Watson go at a North Dakota State? The receiver. He could go maybe early day 2. Other very small school guys I could see going early. Trying to think of like maybe names we haven't mentioned before at all here on the channel. Does Tyler Algier count as a small score? Is BYU? Probably not. No. Trevor Penning, we all know he's going to go earlier, so I can't count him from that perspective. But he's a small school, but we're talking earlier than expected. Now, if he goes top 10, I think that'd be earlier. I mentioned Tariq Woolen out of UTSA in my mock draft. I think that's a decent name there. How about Troy Anderson, linebacker from Montana State? Impressed very well at the at the Senior Bowl, and I think will measure well at the Combine as well.
So another quarterback that's got a lot of drama around him, as always, is Baker Mayfield. And is he going to be with the Browns in 2022? Go ahead and type your Y for yes, or you can go ahead and type your N for no. If you want to get a question about Baker Mayfield on the show, the way to do it is use hashtag NFL. Will the Browns have Baker Mayfield? Kind of frame it like that. So Y for yes, N for no. Will Baker Mayfield be with the Browns? So St. Patrick's Day, this might be breaking news to some of y'all. It's March 17th every single year. Every single year. Harrison Graham. So if you guys want to go ahead and get some awesome St. Patrick's Day gear for your favorite NFL team, go to chatsports.com/NFLgreen. Every year, and I'm not kidding you when I say this, every year, my girlfriend looks at me and goes, what do you want to do for St. Patrick's Day? I'm like, I don't care. We can do whatever. She's like, what are you going to wear? I don't have anything green. I'm going to be honest with you. I never wear anything green. You know what I will wear, though? If it's Raiders-centric or if it's my favorite team or player, I'm going to rep that. And I can then go ahead and rep that on St. Patty's Day. So if you plan on going to a parade, if you plan on going to a party, if you plan on just getting schmacked, then you might as well do it in your favorite team's gear. So go to chatsports.com/NFLgreen. We got all sorts of stuff. Not just the stuff you saw up on screen. But here's the thing, y'all. It's going to go quick. And if you want to get it before St. Patty's Day, you got to go to chatsports.com/NFLgreen. Let's go to Breeze. What do you think about Jermaine Johnson III? I think he's a sleeper in this year's draft. He was a sleeper. Jermaine Johnson about a month ago was going at like 30s range in some mocks. Heck, there were some people that weren't putting him in the first round. Now, when you see Mel Kiper putting Jermaine Johnson at number 13, I don't know if you could be considered a sleeper anymore. He's a good player. He's long, he's lanky, he's a good edge rusher. But if you start going in top 15 of mocks, the whole sleeper category, it's gone and out the window. What position is taking the most the first round of the draft? So which position gets taken the most in the first round of the NFL draft? I'll say offensive tackle, because I could see 5 offensive tackles going in the first round. Quarterback's always going to be thrown out there. Wide receiver, we could see 6 wide receivers go. You know what? I'm gonna go wide receiver. That's going to be my answer. I could see 6 receivers going in the first round of the 2022 NFL draft. All right, y'all, it's your turn to take a guess here. Where will OBJ sign this offseason? He's one of the top wide receivers in free agency. I have him ranked at number 4. Unfortunately, though, for him, he did tear his ACL in the Super Bowl. I almost said national championship game. Where is my head at? So where will OBJ sign this offseason?
From Blood Wolf, thoughts on Drake Jackson for USC? You're banking on the upside. I got my notes done here. I got a second-ish round grade, at least before Combine and stuff. He cut down his weight, dropped 25 pounds his freshman year. The production's always been kind of middling as well, but he's got bend and burst. He's young. He only turns 21 in April. There are flashes of those elite traits, but I don't trust him right now against the run, and he's got to add more power. So I think you gamble on that type of player in day 2. I hated how much USC dropped him into coverage. That was stupid by the Trojans, but I think there's upside there of a nice round 2 pick who emerges as a potential really solid edge 2 in the NFL. For nonstop coverage of NFL free agency, draft, trades, and more, hit that big red button and subscribe today. It is all free here on Chat Sports, and it always will be. So if you haven't already, subscribe right now. ECK Sports, possible teams for Haason Reddick. I think Seattle would be a great destination. Any team that needs a pass rusher, and there are a lot of them, should have interest in Haason Reddick. The number 1 fit, though, as far as I'm concerned, he should just go back to Carolina. Like, they need him, and I think should want him opposite Brian Burns. It'd be a fantastic 1-2 punch, just like it was this past year. I'd go that route. Maybe the Jets or Giants, they want some more pass rush help. Both those teams would be, I would argue, good fits. But any team that needs a pass rusher, it's a good route to go explore. Devin Greathouse, where do you think Watson will sign, be traded to? I don't know. I think Carolina will go all in on him this offseason, but they are a bit light on draft capital. The Eagles and Giants have the picks. Do they want him? There's a lot of concern on that front for Deshaun. He's still, as weird as it's been, in a holding pattern for the past year-ish at this point.
Final question here. It's a super chat coming up from Taylor Holland. Best value free agent signing of the last 5 years that made the biggest impact and the most overplayed and bust of the last 5 years. Yikes. So the best value free agent signing of the last 5 years, dude, I'd have to really sit down. And most overpaid and bust of the last 5 years. Well, the name that comes to my mind right away from a Raiders standpoint is Trent Brown, because they made him the highest paid tackle. They put him on the right side. Essentially paid him $76,000 per snap. So that's an absolute bust. In terms of the most overpaid, can anybody think of a super overpaid or underpaid free agent? That's the thing. Zeke wasn't that. Let me come back to me. Message me on Instagram, Taylor. I'll try to give you a better answer. But going back to the past 5 years is never an easy thing to do.